is going on, YouTube? Welcome to the Living Freed channel. My name is Tyler Freed, and in today's video I'm going to be talking a little bit about what I learned from my veteran trucking trainer. I'm going to go into a little bit of detail of my experience with my trainer when I first started out in the trucking business and what he taught me, all the tips and tricks of the trade that he taught me. But first, before I get into the topic of the video, I would appreciate it if you are new to the channel to please like the video, subscribe to the channel, and also check out some of my other videos that I've already posted. And some of those videos will be recommended at the end of this one, so I really would appreciate it if you would also go check those out. And also, before I get to the topic of this video, I would like to wish everybody a happy Thanksgiving, and I hope everybody has a great time with their family and friends and enjoys their holiday season. You know, this is one of my favorite times of the year. I love Thanksgiving, I love Christmas time, I love New Year's time. You know, I kind of like the colder weather, honestly, so just everything about this time of year I really like. So anyway, happy Thanksgiving to everybody, and I hope you have a blessed holiday season. So anyway, let me get into the topic of this video, and I kind of wanted to make this video just because, you know, I know that a lot of people that get into trucking don't necessarily get trained the proper way, and I think that, you know, that is largely due to the fact that a lot of these mega carriers are allowing people with 6 months of experience to train new drivers, to train people coming out of school. And honestly, all the veteran truck drivers know this. All the people that have been trucking for, I would say, a good 2 years or more, understand that 6 months of experience is definitely not enough to be able to teach somebody how to do this job safely and how to do everything the right way. It's just not enough experience. Now, I'm making this video too because I am about to go into the training of students, and I'm making this video because I believe that newer drivers definitely need to understand that, you know, in your first year of driving a truck, that is where you're getting all your experience. That is where you're learning how to do this job safely. You really shouldn't be focused on the money per se in the first year. You should be focused on doing this job as efficiently as possible, getting your experience, driving safe, not having any accidents on your record, and protecting your license in that first year. Because after you get that 1 year of experience, the sky is the limit in the trucking business. You know, you can go from making 50, 60K a year your first year to going off and working for one of these smaller carriers and making, you know, you can make $80,000 to $110,000 a year. Absolutely, you can do that. And no, not everybody will do that, but if you're a hustler, if you're a grinder, you can definitely do that. But the thing is you are going to have to learn from somebody who knows how to do this job the right way. And that is kind of what I'm going to talk about in this video, is the things I learned from my trainer. Why did I have such a great trainer? Well, you know, my trainer had about 15 years of experience as an over-the-road trucker before I got with him. And he probably has now, it's been 3 years, so he's close to 18 years, right, of truck driving experience. And he's an older gentleman, right? So he has that old school mentality too, you know, that respect for the business, that respect for what he does. And I honestly believe that that is really important So don't worry about them, right? Don't worry about them. That they'll pass you, they'll go be angry, down the road and flip somebody else off, right? After they pass you, because they're going to do that to everybody. So you're always going to have stupid people who are trying to rush through things like that, right? So like construction zones, don't risk it. Do the posted speed limit, right? Also, you're driving in snow, you're driving in rain, you're driving in high wind. Slow down, take your time. Don't try to be a hero. If the weather's too bad, pull over, shut it down. It's just common sense stuff that he taught me that has been really valuable. I have not had, knock on wood, I have not had any accidents so far. I have been completely safe and clean. And some of that is luck. Sometimes, truckers get in accidents because a four-wheeler cuts them off and hits them. Like, sometimes it isn't the trucker's fault, But in most cases, whether you get a ticket or whether you get in an accident or not, that is your fault in most cases, because we are the professional drivers. And that's another thing. He's like, look at yourself as a professional. These four-wheelers are not professionals. We are. So we need to be aware of what's going on around our truck at all times. You need to know what's going on to the left of you, in front of you, to the right of you, behind you, above you, everything. You need to be aware. You need to have your head on a swivel at all times, right? If you're backing into tight spots, you need to get out and look. Don't worry about the angry dude that's flipping you off and cussing at you. Don't worry about him, right? Don't worry about him. And just, oh well, he's going to be mad at everything anyway. People like that, they're mad at the world. They're not just mad at you, they're mad at the world, And so don't worry about things like that, right? When you're backing into tight spots, take your time, don't hit anything, because it's going to be a way worse day if you hit something. It's going to be a way worse day. People are going to get way more mad at you if you hit somebody's truck, if you hit somebody's car or whatever, right? It's just take your time, slow down, be professional, be respectful to shippers and receivers, be respectful to other truck drivers on the road if they're respectful to you, which a lot of times they're not. But you know what? Try to carry yourself like a professional out here on the road. That's just, long story short, try to be as professional as possible. When you show up to shippers and receivers, show up clean, brush your hair, brush your teeth, look clean. You don't have to wear a suit and a tie or anything, but go in there and be presentable, actually take this job seriously, right? And, he taught me a lot about just basic, professionalism, and I think that's really important, because I see a lot of people out here that do not have that. They don't have it. I'm sorry. They just don't. And it's kind of sad, really. It's kind of sad. I'm like, who trained you? Who taught you to do this, right? Another big thing is tailgating. That is another huge thing. Tailgating is the absolute worst thing you can do. That is something he taught me. He's like, man, you want to have so much space in front of you at all times, because you got to think about if that vehicle in front of you comes to a complete stop, and it happens where you're driving going 65, 70 miles an hour, and all of a sudden traffic comes to a complete stop. If that happens, are you going to be able to come to a complete stop safely, or are you going to have to swerve out of the way? Because there's a lot of tailgating out here, and you do not want to do that. You do not want to do that. You do not want to be tailgating. Absolutely not. So that is a huge thing. That following distance, that cushion you give people is absolutely important. That cushion you give yourself is absolutely important. So don't tailgate. That was another big thing. Now, I'm really kind of talking about the just being a driver aspect of what my trainer taught me in this video. I may make another video of what he taught me about the business side of trucking, because my trainer was a company driver training drivers at the time, but he had been an owner-operator before. all over the country. Like, he had been all 48 states, driven in almost every Canadian province. You know, he has been everywhere. You know, driven in snow, mountains, everywhere you can possibly think of, my trainer has been, or had been. And so I really respected what he had to say. I really paid attention. You know, that's another big thing. Like, I believe, and this is for anything that you do, get a mentor, get somebody who can teach you the game, who can teach you how to be successful, how to do your job efficiently, and then, all right, venture out and start learning from other people. But, you know, at first, you want to learn from people that have experience doing what you're doing. You know, he taught me the tricks of the trade. He taught me the hustle, right? And that's what's really important in trucking, is understanding that this is a hustle. This business, you can make a lot of money in trucking, but a lot of people, you know, don't make a lot of money. They just make average money because they don't understand that, hey, it's discipline that equals money in trucking. You have to have discipline. You have to have that kind of military-like discipline, honestly. You know, you have to be able to sleep, you know, at different hours of the day, at different hours of the night. You have to be able to get up at different hours of the day and different hours of the night. You have to be able to drive nights. You have to be able to drive in bad weather and know what you're doing. You know, you have to avoid going to truck stops because that wastes a lot of time. When you go to truck stops, you're wasting a lot of time going in and out of there. Now, you got to fuel your truck and do things like that, but I'm talking about, like, you know, on your 30-minute breaks and when you shut down for the night, you know, things like that. Like, try to avoid these things that waste a lot of time, right? Sleeping at shippers, sleeping at receivers, you know, just doing all these different things, practicing good habits, discipline, you know, practicing self-discipline. Also, you know, using, you know, he also taught me, like, hey man, you know, use this job to get ahead financially. Have a plan out here. Have a plan. Now, I already kind of had a plan, but he kind of reinforced that. Like, hey dude, don't come out here and be away from your family and not have a plan to get ahead. What's the point? You know, you might as well just go get a job at home. Like, what's the point in being out here for long periods of time and it not being worth it? So, you know, that's why this self-discipline and things like that are so important. That's why, you know, in trucking, like, taking your job seriously, being a professional is so important, is because in order to have a long-term career in this business that's a successful one and not an average one, you know, you have to respect what you're doing. You have to respect, you know, you have to really take things seriously. And that's ultimately what he taught me. Take this seriously. You know, there's a lot of responsibility when you're driving this truck. I know a lot of people, you know, they don't take that, what they do, seriously. They don't take this seriously. And that's not a good thing. That's not a good thing that we have a lot of drivers out here that are new that don't take this job seriously. They don't do pre-trip inspections. They don't care. And a lot of those guys or girls, they quit out because they don't care. They don't see trucking for what it is. And that is a great opportunity. So anyway, I just wanted to kind of talk a little bit about, you know, what I learned from my trainer and kind of give some advice on, hey, you know, if you're just getting into the business, definitely try to talk to an older trucker who has a lot of experience and ask him, you know, tips and tricks of the trade to help your trucking career out. Absolutely do that. You know, always be learning all the time, right? And, you know, that's pretty much it for this video. So, like I said, everybody, happy Thanksgiving.